Goodness gracious. What just landed at my house? Going from one cool Honda to the next. This ought to be a really exciting week. Here we go. My first errand in the Type R is to the bank here, which is under construction, but I had to laugh when I turned the radio on. Somebody has stationed this thing to the classical music. Something about that just feels wrong in this nasty car. First impressions as I just got to my office where I need to print something out. I think I'm giving myself motion sickness driving this thing. Seriously, it just demands more throttle input no matter what speed you're going. And the handling is so precise that you feel like taking every corner at speed. It is just a really, really well-balanced chassis. There is no mistaking this car in a parking lot. This is one thing about the Type R that kind of cracks me up. So my driveway is not even that much of an incline right here, the gutter, but the chassis on this thing is so stiff that it actually lifts the right rear tire off the ground. You can't quite see air, but it is off the ground. And that's just how sport tuned the suspension is on this car, even just on a small dip like this. Finally have a decent cameraman in the car with me, so welcome aboard. Just highway cruising right now. I did find an R mode in here, so if you hit this dynamic, I guess, selector twice to the upper portion, it puts it into, there's comfort, sport, and then R mode. Still figuring out exactly what that did to it, but the car at a highway speed like right here, 65 to 75, it's actually pretty smooth, and it's not really until you get on a rougher city street that you'll even feel like you're in a performance or a sport suspension car. Welcome to the garage. Similar to what we did last week with the 2021 Odyssey, I kind of wanted to do a little bit of interior demo on the Type R, just to introduce you to some of the tech content and things of that nature. So clearly two very different performance machines here with my SLX keeping it company. But the nitty gritty that you guys already probably know, if you're familiar with the Type R, is that it is powered by the 306 horsepower 2-liter direct injection turbocharged 4-cylinder. The car does have a limited slip differential. These are 20-inch wheels on summer tires, and they're definitely low pro. Got a cool little red band that you can see around the outer edge. Nice Brembo brakes as well. As far as lighting, I'm a really big fan of the treatment that's going on up here with the headlights and the fogs being LED. The car has a lot of good aero stuff going on. You can see the carbon fiber treatment that runs all the way down. Sorry, the car's got a little bit of dust on it, but these little sort of winglets that pop out here forward over the rear wheels. Obviously, all this bodywork here with the flared fenders is Type R specific. And then we have a bunch of stuff going on back here, including 3 exhaust tips, 1, 2, 3. And I'm trying to see what they call that. Triple outlet sport exhaust. And anyway, in terms of all the aero stuff, it's, you know, love it or hate it. It is functional though. I mean, there's been engineering behind everything that's on this car, and there's a reason for it. On the interior, obviously you can see the carbon fiber treatment continues on through the door panels. And these are the suede sport seats. Very, very comfortable and supportive to get in and out of. As far as interior amenities, there's a lot of storage functionality here. So this pops up here, got a couple of extra masks, but it's a really deep sort of cargo area. You can maybe get a glimpse of it there, but tons of space for just whatever you need to put in there. The car obviously is individually badged. NSX is similar to that in terms of sort of just adds to the feel of exclusivity. Let's get the accessories on here real quick. One thing I discovered with my nighttime driving was that the brightness obviously is customizable here. Let's go. Yeah, so there's a little button up top that sort of lets you toggle through the different modes, because the screen does have a tendency to be a little bit bright at night. On the controls here, I actually kind of prefer some of the Acura models that have the rolly wheel as opposed to this up-down clicker thing for volume. Obviously you do still have your little knob here on this side as well. Everything's really within super close reach. But yeah, obviously the tachometer is a big central component of the gauge cluster, and then your speed is digitally indicated there. I was going to mention the wheel itself obviously is a really soft material. I don't know if I'll pronounce it right, but I think it's Alcantara. And as much as I love how it feels, I do wonder about long-term sort of fit and finish, you know, years down the road, and how to properly clean it and everything like that. But it's cool to get your hands on. Out back, this is where the car does lose a little bit of functionality in terms of being a sedan, because notice that the middle of the back seat is not a seat, but rather just a couple of cup holders. So here's the view from inside. The thing about it being a hatchback is that you have a ton of headspace and cargo capability back here. So I'll show you guys real quick what that's like to open up. Again, it's going to be a little bit dark here to probably tell, but it's just a carpeted mat here. There's a full width cargo cover here that you can string out to make your belongings obscure, but you can just kind of see how capable this thing is of hauling gear back here. It's kind of surprising. I noticed that even with all the spoiler stuff going on back here, your rearward visibility isn't that bad. You know, you're looking through your rear view mirror on the windshield and you can see this top spoiler, but it's not even to the point that it distracts you from being able to get a glimpse of what's behind you. Noticeably missing, of course, on the Type R is the moonroof. Probably, oh, my key's outside, so that's what's beeping at me. Probably in the interest of weight savings is why that was removed. A little bit of trivia that I actually wasn't aware of, but those of you who are diehard Honda people probably will know. If you notice, this car has a VIN that starts in the letter S. This is actually a European-built car. They are manufactured in England. So that was kind of news to me. I think everything else in the garage here is a Japan car, except for the CL, which is built in Ohio. But yeah, it's just kind of unique to have England represented in here. It is my last and final day with the Type R, and I'm gassing this thing up before it goes away tomorrow morning. Gonna share with you guys some feedback here that was just jotted down on a notepad. Just some high points, low points, and overall takeaways about the car after 7 days. You ready for it? Let's dish out the final feedback. Type R takeaways coming at you right now. This is a quick checklist on some observations I had. So stuff that I absolutely love about the car is included here on this side. I feel like the car has amazing power delivery. You can clamp on the throttle even in third, fourth gear and really feel that turbo doing its thing. The suspension tuning is on point. It's such a fun car to drive, and you can detect a difference between the sport and comfort mode very readily. The seats, I can't say enough about how comfortable those bucket seats are. They just really grip you in all the right places. The gearbox, this is something Honda has always done amazing at. It's just flawless to shift. You feel right at home, just like in any other Honda with a stick shift. And they did a great job with that. The steering as well. Overall, I think a lot of this is just your overall driving experience. They really nailed it with that car. This one, you'll see on the other side as well. Styling can go either way. I know this has been out for a few years, so it's starting to grow on people a little bit more, but it can still be a little bit you know, over the top for some people. Let's look at the other side now. The only thing I didn't put this a full sad face because it's more just like meh, but I think the car could actually use a little more bark to go with that, you know, appearance package. If there were an opportunity to have a little bit more exhaust note, I think that would be totally cool. Again, styling is only here because potentially there are people who don't care much for it. MSRP, I put that down because this is a $38,000 Civic. And so no matter how you slice it, there are certain folks who are gonna have issue with that. So something to think about, especially considering you can get a pretty nice Civic Si for quite a bit less than that. And passenger utility, I only included that because as I showed you, the back seat doesn't even have seating in the middle for a third passenger in that row. The cargo capacity gives it some utility, but if you want to haul 5 people in that car, you're out of luck. Anyway, I had a blast with that thing, and sadly it's going away tomorrow, but great way to finish out 2020 on a high note. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.